What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic kick butt day today so far. So guys, the Brawl Stars update has been live for about a day now. I'm not gonna lie, I've been enjoying the crap out of it. As you guys saw in the clip in the beginning, I managed to get all 4 star powers out of the Brawl boxes that I had just on my account. 179 is what I started with, and I got them all, so I'm very, very happy about that. Also, it's unfortunate, but I wasn't able to get tick up super high on the very first day. I was so dang sleep deprived over that video yesterday. I was up literally the entire night and then passed out at like 5 p.m. and just slept. But guys, we have a lot of very interesting things to discuss in today's video revolving around the star powers that are going to be released every single week here shortly. Now, there's an incredibly strong theory brewing in the Brawl Stars community that I'm going to be presenting to you guys today. Which star powers are going to be coming next, which 3, as well as which star powers are going to be coming in the weeks to come. So if you have a specific star power that you're waiting for, that you're really excited about, stay tuned. We're going to be going over all of it. Also, we're going to be discussing what every single one of the star powers does before they're actually released inside the game, so you guys can match up when they should be released and what they actually do before they're released. So yeah, guys, hope you're all excited for today's video. Let's get straight away into it. Here we go. Okay guys, so bringing you over to this image here, and I want to give huge props to Portal over on Twitter as well as CoolRobotX over on Reddit for helping piece these puzzles together surrounding this theory. So the funny thing about this theory is in the teaser video, it was in plain sight and no one really noticed it until now. But if you guys didn't know, in each slide when they are giving the terms, they're all in groups of 3. And if you guys didn't know by now, there's going to be a total of 3 star powers released every single week. Now, the main driving fuel for this theory is, as you guys can see during week 1, we have Band-Aid, Hyper Bear, as well as Protective Pirouettes, the 3 star powers that were released the very first week. Now, it could be just an incredible coincidence that the first week fell during the very first slide, but it's very unlikely. As you guys can see, we have 9 different slides, so for that one to match up for the very first week is very unlikely. So based on this, next week, Colt's star power, Rico's star power, as well as Rosa's star power should be released to us. And if that is so, I feel like this theory is pretty dang credible moving forward. So if you see a favorite star power here, you're waiting for one to come out, me specifically, Coiled Snake, it's falling under week number 6, Morris's star power. Go ahead and find out which one you're looking forward to most and keep note on which week it should be falling on. But yeah, guys, I wanted to share this with you all today just so we're all kind of in the same loop moving forward with stuff that's going to be released inside of Brawl Stars. I feel like if I know something in particular, you guys should know it as well. Even playing ground here, guys, on the Ray Brawl Stars channel. But next, we're going to be going over every single one of the star powers and what they're going to do once they're released inside of Brawl Stars, and kind of just going over my general thoughts over them and how strong they're going to be. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to be breaking these up in groups of 10, and keep note, like I said before, if you have a favorite star power coming, use that graphic that we showed in the beginnings to find out when it's actually going to be coming out. Reading through these initially, I was like, oh my goodness, there's so many cool ones, like that Mortis one that I really want, and finding out which week it's going to be coming out can be kind of helpful. Based on a theory, it's not 100% credible yet, but I have a strong feeling that is pretty dang accurate. So, starting off with the very first 10, we have Shelly, Band-Aid. We already know what that does. It heals you up to 100 HP once you fall below 40%, so pretty dang good star power. There's a discussion brewing around about which star power is better, and I think the old Shelly star power is just a tiny bit better. That slow knockback and stuns inside of Brawl Stars is so incredibly good. It's very valuable. Next is Nita's, and that is Hyper Bear, and we all know what this one does. Lex would like to say Bruce is all hyped up on Mountain Dew, and you know what? I couldn't agree more here. I find this star power to be so incredibly cool. It's my favorite one coming out in the star powers that were just released here during this update. Bruce goes ham with this star power selected, and if I had to voice my opinion with the other star power, I feel like this one is much better than the other one, and I feel like something either needs to get nerfed with Hyper Bear or the other star power needs to be brought up to the standard of Hyper Bear, so it's more of a decision to make with Nita. Like, when I'm playing with Nita, Hyper Bear is going to be selected 100% if it doesn't change right now. Next one is Colt, and if you guys didn't remember, Colt's going to be coming out in the next week based on the theory that we went over, and that's Magnum Special. Colt's main attack range and bullet speed are increased by 11%. That's crazy, guys. The star powers seem really strong, which I like. I like having a little bit more influence and strategy when you have 2, and then maybe possibly in the near future 3 star powers to choose from with a brawler. But this one's really cool. If you guys didn't know, Colt's one of my favorite brawlers in the game, and I feel like this is going to help him out. Increased bullet speed and range. That's insane. Next one is Bull, Tough Guy. When Bull falls below 40% health, he gains a shield that reduces all damage taken by 30%. This is almost like the polar opposite of Bull's other star power, which you will be seeing coming up with multiple different star powers on this list. You want these star powers to be polar opposites, because then you have the decision to play Bull as an aggro brawler or Bull as somewhat of a passive, somewhat supportive brawler, because the star power he has now is very aggressive. The attack speed increase or the reload time decrease, and then this one he's just getting his shield, so if you drop below 40% you can get away with the help of that reduced damage. Next is Jesse, and is called Shocky. Scrapping the turret now shoots energy orbs that bounce between enemies. Holy man! So if I'm assuming that the energy orbs are going to be the same exact thing as Jesse, which we can assume because it says it bounces between enemies, that's freaking OP. It depends how fast it's going to be shooting. I don't think it's going to be shooting as fast as the turret does now with energy orbs shooting out, as well as it might not do as much damage as Jesse's main attack. But it sounds really, really cool. I like that a lot. Just imagine how much pressure that would have, worrying about two different bouncing shots. Jesse's hitting you, as well as the turret hitting you and bouncing off of enemies. That's a really cool one. I like that one a lot. Moving on to Brock, rocket number 4. Brock finally gains one more rocket, increasing his ammo capacity. This one was destined, guys. If you didn't know, in his graphics, in his rocket launcher, there's 4 rockets, and he only has 3. I feel like it's destined. But this one's going to help him out a lot as well. It's just going to increase his overall damage per second because he doesn't have to wait to reload. And spamming out those shots, just imagine being close to like a squishier brawler or even a medium range brawler now. You can burst them down really, really quickly if you have all 4 of your ammo ready. I like that one a lot. It's perfect for Brock. Next, Dynamite Demolition adds plus 1000 damage to Mike's super. Holy man. Guys, if Dynamite's super wasn't powerful enough, it's going to be dealing a whopping 4080 damage at max level. That's enough to take out some of the squishier brawlers with just one shot. That is so much damage, and I like how it's a difference between that really, really high skill cap star power that he has now, where if you're good at it, it can be much better than just extra damage on your super, but if you haven't mastered it yet, you can just take the safe route and get that plus 1000 damage to your super. That's insane. Moving on to Bow. Snare a bear. Instead of knockback, Bow's traps now stun the enemy for 2.0 seconds. Now, like we said before when we were discussing Shelly's current star power, slows, stuns, snares, whatever you want to call them, they're all very, very good inside of Brawl Stars. Sometimes when you're playing with Shelly with her current star power, you just use it at max range just for the slow so that your teammates have an easier time to line up their shots and deal a massive amount of damage to the brawler that's slowed down. And judging by this, snare means they can't move for 2 seconds, so that's kind of on the same level as a Frank super, which people have argued is one of the best supers in the game because it's a straight stun. If you stun them, they're as good as dead. Another thing to keep in mind is that Bow's mines are invisible, so this is going to be very, very useful. When you compare it to like Frank's super, you can see that sucker coming from a mile away, but I mean, the mines are completely out of sight. So that's insane. That's a really, really good one. Next one, El Primo, Meteor Rush. El Primo gains 32% speed boost for 5 seconds after using super. This is so good compared to his other one. They need to change one of them, right? The one that he has now needs to be brought up quite a bit, but that 32% movement speed, that is like literally you just have to jump in the vicinity of someone. You don't necessarily need to hit them, and you just speed up and get them for 5 seconds. But yeah, that's incredibly good for El Primo. But next is Barley. Extra Nauseous adds plus 140 damage per second to Barley's attacks, so that is 280 damage per basic attack that he has now, because his basic attack lands twice, once every second. Now, this isn't super flashy compared to a lot of these, like, for example, the one that we just went over, Primo's 32% boost in movement speed, but it's still going to help him out quite a lot. As you guys know, Barley's that, like, safe distance lobber that relies a lot on his poke damage, as well as his crowd control with his super. So any form of getting more damage on the opponents while they're at a safe distance is going to help him out a lot. And again, it's kind of that polar opposite, because Barley heals himself when he throws out his basic attack. This one's just going to be dishing out more damage. Moving on to the next 10 star powers that we're covering today, and the very first one is Poco, and it's called Screeching Solo. Poco's super now also hits enemies, dealing 1,200 damage. This one is very, very good. One of the qualities that I really like about Pogo's current star power is that you can do 2 things with one individual basic attack. This one is with super instead of basic attack. And that is you can dish out damage to your opponents as well as heal up your teammates at the same exact time if they're all in the same crossfire. So I'm seeing a lot of really awesome scenarios with this Screeching Solo. For example, say your team is losing in a big team fight. The enemy team is winning. You dish off one of your supers. Number 1, you're healing up your teammates, and number 2, you're dishing out damage to those opponents that they're currently going for. So that big swing, being able to basically influence the team fight that much with one super, I feel like it's going to be insane. I love this one. Pogo star power, Screeching Solo, that's one to look for sure. Moving on to Rosa, and according to the theory, this is one of the star powers that's going to be coming out next week, so be on the lookout for that one. And it's called Thorny Gloves. Rosa's punches gain plus 200 damage during her super. Now, on paper, this one seems to be a little bit underwhelming, which I feel like is fine for a brawler like Rosa, because just her base character is very, very good. And if you add something on top of that, I feel like it would just be very, very brutal thing to do for a brawler like Rosa. Just to kind of put into perspective, Rosa's super only lasts like 3 seconds, right? So you're gaining plus 200 damage per hit. I don't know. We'll have to see. It might just be something that's kind of going over my head, that it might just be an epic star power, but I don't see it being super, super good. Next one, Rico, Robo Retreat. I love this one so much. When Rico falls below 40% health, he runs 34% faster. It's literally just like the robots in Robo Rumble or boss fights. They increase their movement speed, so I like that one a lot. It's going to help them get out of sticky situations. A lot of the time with Rico, you're put in very awkward situations because you're trying to get in a really good position for bounce shots on the map. Someone might be coming in behind you from the mid and collapse in on you. I'm picturing Hard Rock Mine in my mind. And that burst of movement speed to get away so that you don't die and have to go through that respawn is going to be super, super good, because then you can just mount up and try to control your lane once again. To be honest, I like the star power quite a lot more than his current star power. I don't find that plus 100 damage per bounce shot to be very, very useful. It's extra damage, but again, number 1, you have to land your shots, as well as if you land every single one of your shots, it's the same as just one more bullet landing that same damage. So I see this one being quite a bit more useful than the current one. Maybe one has to be buffed than the other. Maybe the other one needs to be plus 200 damage. I don't know. Next is Daryl, Rolling Reload. When Daryl uses his super, he reloads 3 ammo instantly. This is so OP for Daryl. Holy crap, guys. Daryl's like an assassination type brawler, and he gets his super so many times a game. So basically, you're guaranteed full ammo when you're rolling in on someone, and that's exactly what you need for Daryl when you're trying to take someone out, assassinate a particular brawler in the game. That is so incredibly good, and there's no like wait time or reload time for this super like Shelly has with her band-aid. So every single time you super, you get 3 ammo right away. That is so good. I like that one a lot. Next is Penny, Balls of Fire. Cannonballs from Penny's turrets set the ground on fire for 3 seconds. Enemies in the burning area take 400 damage per second. Now this one depends on how big the area is. If it's the same radius as like Brock's basic attack, his current star power, then it's going to be the same thing as Brock's current star power, kinda. Next is Carl, Protective Pirouette. During Carl's super, all damage received is reduced by 30%. Now, of course, this one is already in the game, but I really, really like this one. It's kind of like that staple one where you just get your shield, kind of like something that Bull has, but I feel like it helps Carl a lot, and it gives him that more passive approach if you were to select this star power, whereas the other one is more aggressive because you get that attack speed increase and that overall DPS increase. So this one's really cool. Love the polar opposites. Once again, really, really like that about the star powers in the game. Moving on to Piper, Snappy Sniping. When Piper hits an enemy, turrets and bolts included with her attack, she reloads 0.5 ammo instantly. Really, really good for Piper. One of her biggest drawbacks is how slow she reloads and the wait time that you need for your ammo. So if you're good at landing your shots with Piper, you're going to get a little reward back for it. You're getting that 0.5 ammo back. I think that's going to help her out a lot. Next is Pam, Mama Squeeze. Healing turret now also damages enemies for 300 damage per second. That is so freaking cool. Now, initially going through my mind, normally when you place down Pam's turret, you're placing it in a really weird spot where the enemy teammates aren't going to be kind of going towards. It is a very wide radius, but I feel like people aren't going to be getting into that radius a whole lot, so it's not going to deal a whole lot of damage. But also, you can use it like offensively. Say, for example, like a Leon is coming in on you, and the way that you would defend that with Pam is drop your healing station right on top of you and then kind of move around it, trying to withstand some of the blasts from Leon. But in that same instance, that same scenario, you drop your healing station, he's taking damage as well, and you're protecting yourself at the same time. So the defensive capabilities are really, really good there, as well as maybe sometimes someone is just trying to get away from you, really, really low on health. You have your super, they're around a corner, it's basically a lobbing attack. You just throw it over the wall to dish off that maybe 600 damage if you're lucky to pick up that kill. That's a really, really cool one. I like that one a lot. There's a lot of things you can do with it. Next, Frank. Sponge. Frank gains plus 1,000 health. It's kind of like the same thing as like Dynamite. Very straightforward, clear cut. But with this star power, he's going to be the highest health brawler in the game by 1,000 health. Moving on to Bibi, batting stance. When Bibi's home run bar is fully charged, she shields herself from all damage by 30%. One thing that you got to keep in mind about this, it's not like a duration thing. It's not like you get it for 5 seconds like some of the shields that we have inside the game. If your home run bar is full, which you literally can have your home run bar full the entire game if you wanted to, you get that 30% reduced damage. So that is really good. But I think you need to have a good second star power for Bibi because her star power right now is really, really good. You need it to be a decision that player has to make. Do I use this one or this one? So I like this one a lot. Moving on to the final 7 star powers, and the very first one is Mortis, my guy. It's called the Coiled Snake. Now this is incredibly interesting, but I don't know which one is going to be better. Which one do I want to use more? And that is Mortis gains a dash bar. His dash range is increased by 100% when the bar is fully charged. It takes 3 seconds for the bar to charge when Mortis has all 3 dashes ready. Wow, guys, that is a really, really cool star power. It's incredibly unique. But I don't know. That healing is really, really important for his current star power. But I think this one's going to just take a lot of play testing. I need to see this one firsthand. It's coming out week number 7, I believe. Week number 6, excuse me, according to the theory. So I'm excited for that one. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Next is Tara. Healing Shade. Tara's super cracks open a dimensional portal. A shadowy version of Tara appears to heal Tara and her teammates. So it's the complete opposite. Instead of the shadow figure dishes out damage to the enemy teammates, it's going to heal. I think that one's better, honestly. I think the only thing that Tara's Shadow does now gives you a little bit of a meat shield when you're going in on the brawler that you just sucked in to take out, because it's right in front of their face, because it's going straight for them to dish damage out. So if it's like a bull, it's going to take the brunt of that bull's attack, the very first ammo that he dishes off. So I like that aspect of it, but healing, that is really, really important. Next is Jean. It's called Pat on the Back. Hitting teammates with Jean Super now heals them for 2,000 health. That is quite a bit of healing, but the thing that you have to keep in mind is that you have to waste a super in order to give that 2,000 health to a teammate. Jean's super is really, really important to making critical plays in the game, so maybe in a sticky situation it would be useful to heal up maybe someone that has like a bunch of gems or something like that. But I do have to say I think this one is a bit better than his current star power. Next is Spike, and this one better be good because Spike's star power is freaking broken. His current one is called Curveball. Spikes from Cactus's grenade fly in a curving motion, making it easier to hit targets. Interesting. So the thing that this does, and that it's pretty dang good, is because it's with every single one of your basic attacks. It's not just your super. So it depends on the way the spikes fly. I need to be able to see how it looks. If it has like kind of homing capabilities, I'm not sure. But one thing that I do know is that Spike's current star power is incredibly good. So this one better come to play in order to step up and be at least that good. But really excited to test it out and see how it does. Next is Crow. Crow deals plus 100 damage with attack and super to targets, turrets, and bots included with 50% or less health. Another thing that you gotta keep in mind is that Crow, much like Rico, it doesn't take a whole lot of damage coming in to get him to that below 50%. So you're gonna be able to get a lot of value from this. But again, I don't know which one is going to be better. The funny thing about Crow's star power now is you don't see any of the benefits. You don't see them firsthand, but they are there, that reduced damage. And finally, the last two. First, we have Leon, Invisi-Heal. Leon recovers 600 health per second while his super is activated. This one is actually really good, and I like it a lot because whenever I'm using Leon's super, I find myself waiting and waiting and waiting for my health to recharge to full before I use it to go in. And sometimes you miss out on a really good opportunity to go in because you're waiting for that health. So you can gain your health back while you're supering in and slowly making it to your opponent. And 600 health per second, that's quite a lot of health. And finally, we have Tick, and of course this one is already in game, but one thing that you got to keep in mind is that this one on the list is different than the one in game, so that should give you guys a clear picture that sometimes things change before they're actually released inside the game. So all the ones that we just went over are subject to change before they hit live build. This one deals with Tick's ammo, but the one in game, it deals with Tick's health. So the one in game is when Tick takes no damage and doesn't attack, he starts recovering health 2 seconds faster than normal. And I think I like this one a lot more than the other one because Tick has very low health, the squishiest brawler in the game. So you need every single source of health regen or being able to keep yourself safe behind walls as possible in order to not die as much with Tick. So I like this one way better. But yeah, guys, those are the current list of every single one of the star powers that's coming, as well as with a pretty dang accurate theory, I think, when they're going to be coming out. So what's your favorite star power? When's it going to be coming out? Which week? Do you have to wait a long time? I'm really kind of disappointed I have to wait 6 weeks to get my Mortis star power. Oh, man. But all this is incredibly exciting. I love these changes coming to Brawl Stars. It introduces a lot of thought and strategy before you hop into games. What star power are you going to bring in with Shelly into Brawl Ball? Which one is going to be more helpful in that game mode? Maybe you're on Heist and that healing mechanic, Band-Aid, is going to be better. But yeah, guys, I've been enjoying this update a lot so far. I'm really happy about the star powers being introduced every single week, as well as just in general. There's so many fun things being added to the game, and I think that opinion is generally shared by the majority of the community, which is fantastic, guys. Whenever Brawl Stars pulls off a really good update, the whole community is happy, so I'm happy about that as well. But guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video today. Hopefully you found it informative. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to slap a like on it. I really appreciate that. Also, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. Being a part of the Ray fam, I would truly appreciate it. So guys, with that being said, make sure to keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.